Oh man, did you see the Game of Thrones spinoff? No, it's actually 7:28 Sunday night as I'm recording this, but I'm looking forward to watching it. Hi, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Maybe we'll talk dragons tomorrow. Jimmy Fallon had on Martin Short. Martin ripped off a whole bunch of jokes and Vulture recapped them. Let's see if I can tell them 1/10 as well as Martin Short did. Are you ready? Yes, you are. James Thomas Fallon, my God, your name screams out diversity. It really does. Next up, I'm so excited to be here tonight, although it could be the Vicodin and Xanax talking, but I don't think so. In fact, it's hard for me to express how excited I am to be here tonight because the Botox is fresh. You know, I haven't seen you since the big Saudi golf tournament. I like that a lot. Who knew that you and the Crown Prince were such buddies? The giggling and he's knitting and you're holding the wool. It's so beautiful. In fact, tell everybody what you were telling me, why the Proud Boys are so much more than a club. What did you mean by that? What does that mean? Here's the thing about Jimmy. We do hang out. We're not just fake show business friends. We're fake friends in real life. I'll have some more Martin Short jokes for you tomorrow. Now that I'm in a joke mood, I wasn't sure if I was going to do this today or not, but let's do it. Every year, the Edinburgh Fringe names one joke the best joke of the year. Should we start with the 10th best one and work up? Yes, we should. Will Dugan. I can't even be bothered to be apathetic these days. Number 9, Sophie Duker. Don't knock threesomes. Having a threesome is like hiring an intern to do all the jobs you hate. That's really good. Tim Vine at number 8. I used to live hand to mouth. You know what changed my life? Cutlery. 7, Richard Pulsford with, I sent a food parcel to my first wife, FedEx. 6, Olaf Falafel. I spent the whole morning building a time machine, so that's 4 hours of my life that I'm definitely getting back. I like it. 5, Will Mars. I hate funerals. I'm not a morning person. 4, Hannah Fairweathers. By my age, my parents had a house and a family, and to be fair to me, so do I, but it's the same house and it's the same family. 3, Olaf Falafel again. My attempts to combine nitrous oxide and OXO cubes made me a laughing stock. 2, Mark Simmons. Did you know if you get pregnant in the Amazon, it's next day delivery? I like it. And the joke of the year from Masai Graham is, I tried to steal spaghetti from the shop, but the female guard saw me and I couldn't get pasta. Oh, awful. But as I always say, I'm sure they told it better. The funniest joke of the Fringe Award is voted for by the public. This was Masai Graham's second time winning it in 2016. He won with, my dad suggests that I register for a donor card. He's a man after my own heart. I'm mugging for the camera. Hey, I want to thank you guys. Last week was the most listened to week of this podcast ever by a significant margin, which means this week I'm set up for disappointment, unless you guys bring it again. But the numbers are going to be down this week, Johnny Mac. You know it in your heart. That's okay. Thank you all for listening. So Saturday, I sat poolside and I caught up on the Joe Rogan Experience because I had seen in the Joe Rogan Experience feed, he had on Louis CK and then he had on Tim Dillon. I was like, all right, I like all that. I will listen to it. So CK went a couple places that caught my ears. At one point, they were talking about comedians who had been canceled, and Joe and CK were having a conversation about canceled comedians, and it was like neither of them were aware that CK was canceled for a while. Then Joe List chimed in and kind of saved that. That was good. At another point, CK referenced the Amazon documentary about the Beatles, the Get Back one. We were all watching it like last year around the holidays. Rogan had never heard of it. How is that possible? New topic. At one point, the conversation turned to porn, and I was getting a little weirded out because Louis started talking about the type of porn where women give you instructions on how you can, as I've been calling it lately, CK yourself. And it was very, very strange to listen to Mr. CK discuss that as a topic. Yeah, there's still some baggage there, Louis. Some other topics discussed on the show. Louis talked about releasing his movie 4th of July. Is that what it's called? On his own website. He said, that's just the way it's been between me and my fans on the website. I put stuff out once in a while. It's at a price that gets just enough for me to get some profit and get the money back, you know, so it lets me operate independently, and it's outside the kind of algorithmic thing that those platforms depend on. And it's a very different model. Louis explained that city life is quite detrimental to humans because it messes with the natural state of how the planet functions. Louis said, humans and animals are part of the earth. It's our home, and cities are not natural. You don't have this natural thing of watching the grass grow, go green, and then gray. You're watching the trees die. It tells your brain how life works. I think it makes you less afraid of dying. The episode is 3+ hours long. I got 2 hours into it. I was into it, but it was like, I got to do something else with my brain. So then I switch over to Tim Dillon. I'll talk about that in a second. So I have an hour left of the CK episode. I'm looking forward to finishing it. Joe List was also on the show. At one point, Joe joked because he had to go to the bathroom. You think you guys can carry on a conversation without me for 5 minutes? Oh, yes, they can, Joe List. Then I switched to the Tim Dillon episode. Now, you've heard me speak about Tim Dillon on this podcast before. I did not love his special. I do like his podcast. The Tim Dillon that appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience is the Tim Dillon in the pocket that I love. He is kind of making fun of conservative commentators. He's a little over the top on purpose, has a lot of laugh lines. So if you're really wondering why does Johnny Mac keep going on about Tim Dillon, listen to the Rogan episode and then you'll be like, oh, okay, I get it. While speaking to Joe Rogan, Tim Dillon said, what we have to realize is that we're Americans. We're deeply selfish monsters that have been bred to destroy all life on Earth. We have to not lose sight of the message that we are here to F things up for everyone else, not each other, and that's what we had in the 80s and the 90s. We had a commitment to apathy while our leaders ran around pillaging the earth. Like, everybody agrees we have to have less crime, everybody agrees we have to have more education, everybody agrees that we have to have safer streets and safer cities, and the things that we disagree on, well, people disagree on, like how to make those things a reality. Rogan asked, how do you have less crime? Is it by letting people out of jail? They spoke about how people take advantage of the current system, thus the system won't change because it benefits those who take advantage of it. I listened to about an hour and a half of that 3-hour episode. I mean, listen to me. I listen to 4 hours of podcasts sitting poolside. I can't listen to 6 hours, Joe Rogan. But it was good. All right, what else can I tell you about today? Because I want to watch Game of Thrones. Good Tom Segura story. Let's save that for tomorrow. Dave Chappelle, this from TMZ. Fat Joe is taking his legendary storytelling skills to the theatrical stage this fall via a one-man show. Joe says, the world will be getting Fat Joe at his most authentic, vulnerable, and comedic self on that stage. I've always taken pride in my storytelling. We're about to take it to the next level. Johnny Mac, why are you talking about this? The show will feature a special introduction from his good friend, Dave Chappelle. So we'll keep an eye on that. Al Franken was on stage. This from the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, who write that Franken was like teaching a class on the history of humor. He had Borscht Belt jokes, which included one he borrowed from Buddy Hackett. He had dirty one-liners that kill at office parties. He did dead-on impressions of Bernie Sanders, and he even did ventriloquism with his new friend Petey, a puppet who exposed the darker side of his operator and then threw up on the front row. But most of his 75-minute set was dedicated to political life in Washington. In the audience, in the fourth row, Senator Amy Klobuchar. Franken took full advantage of coaxing reactions out of his former colleague. Klobuchar got a big round of applause and even played along at one point. She even punctuated her own punchline by standing up and taking a bow. Franken said, I'm still mad at my former colleagues, but I'm still a Democrat. Congratulations to Will O'Donnell. He was named St. Louis's funniest person. Before 2016, St. Louis's funniest person, Will O'Donnell, had never thought about telling jokes. Friends told him he was funny, but that was the extent of it. His winning set included bits about white people loving Raising Cane's chicken fingers, those are very good, and black people having their own birthday song, specifically Stevie Wonder's Happy Birthday. In 2016, I went to open mics, not because I want to do comedy, I wanted to watch comedy. I saw people be funny and I saw people be not funny, and I said I could do that, or I could at least try. It's not a big deal if I fail. He did an open mic at Helium in 2016. After that, I started doing every show I could, driving 2 hours to make $5, 3 hours to make no money. His day job, he's a salesman for maintenance and sanitation supplies. He'll be opening for Rob Durham, 7 p.m. August 26th and 27th at Big Daddy's in Soulard. If you want to hear some really good stand-up, I really like this week's episode of The Weekly Comedy Thing. That's the show I host on the Live One app. The show is free. The app is free. And The Weekly Comedy Thing is kind of like this, except I can play stand-up bits in between the stories. There is a great bit by Emily Heller that I was listening to in the car as I was QCing the show. Oh my goodness, what a great bit. And there's also a really good bit by Nick Kroll titled Cats and Dogs, which is a hacky premise. Hey, what's better, cats or dogs? And Kroll takes a hacky premise and crushes it. Check out The Weekly Comedy Thing. It's free on the Live One app. Remember Fawlty Towers? That was the John Cleese sitcom. He ran a hotel. A script from Fawlty Towers is set to sell for more than £1,000. It was found in a bedroom drawer by the relative of a former BBC cameraman. The relative was sorting out the affairs of the deceased cameraman. He is an ex-cameraman. The cameraman is no more. The script is for the episode Waldorf Salad. It's already topped £900. The auction closes today. Get moving because, time zones in the UK and stuff. Hope you downloaded this thing at 3:05 a.m. Eastern time when I published it. You might have a shot at this thing. The 98-page camera script is dated January 21, 1979. The episode featuring a demanding American guest who orders the titular salad Basil Fawlty has never heard of. It was intended to be the first episode of the second series, but was actually shown as the third. East Bristol Auctions, if you want to jump on that. From Deadline, Sox Entertainment has acquired global rights to Caroline's Comedy Hour, which ran on A&E Network from 89 to 96. They're going to make some new installments as well, which will run mixed in with the 100 existing episodes. That's going to be a weird mix. If nothing else, something shot even on New Year's Eve 1996 is not going to look as good as something shot tomorrow 2022. So I don't know how this is going to work. The original series was hosted by Carol Leifer, Colin Quinn, and it says here Rich Jenny. I have a Richard Jenny. I only know him as Richard Jenny professionally. I have a Richard Jenny story tomorrow. I'm going to put myself a note here because he's getting long, but it's a good story. Originally hosted by Carol Leifer, Colin Quinn, and Rich Jenny, it featured acts appearing at New York's Carolines, including, now listen to this list. This is a hell of a list. Mark Maron, Bill Hicks, Joy Behar, Dennis Leary, Jon Stewart, Louis C.K., Richard Belzer, Judy Tenuta, Susie Essman. As I riff off these names, remember this show stopped airing in 96. How old is Louis C.K. in 1996, right? C.K. Belzer, Tenuta, Susie Essman, Mario Canzone, Ray Romano, Colin Quinn, Larry Miller, Jeff Foxworthy, Louis Black, George Lopez, Al Franken, Kevin James, Norm MacDonald, Carolyn Ray, Jay Moore, Gilbert Godfrey, Daryl Hammond, Juana Sykes, Jeff Dunham, Sarah Silverman, Joe Rogan, Patton Oswalt, and Jim Gaffigan. The bundle also includes acts from the New York Comedy Festival. That is a killer set of comedians. Again, those are from 89 to 96. Now, how that will mix with modern stuff, who knows? And it's about 95 degrees in my studio tonight for some reason. Did you guys turn off the air conditioning? I was away all weekend. I got home late. So I'm recording on a Sunday night for Monday, which I usually don't do. So I'm going to edit this and go watch Game of Thrones is how we pronounce it in Queens. Gama, one word, Gayma. Second word is Thrones with the conventional spelling. Game of Thrones. I can't even remember what this thing is called, but I'm going to go watch it. And you probably watched it last night. That's your comedy news for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, wherever you get your shows. And tomorrow I'll tell you about Tom Segura and my Richard Jenny story. Very exciting, right? See you then.